Welcome everyone to our Wednesday night yoga. We'll be starting to do yoga classes at 5:30 on Monday and Wednesday, and then another recorded yoga class at some time during the week. So be on the lookout for our YouTube channel for new workout classes. Anyways, let's get started on our mat tonight. So we're gonna start in a comfortable seat on our mat tonight. So your legs can cross in front of you, or you can bring them out in front, whatever's most comfortable for you. Then we'll just start to kind of let our hips sink into the mat. You can gently let your eyes come to close. Your hands can rest on your knees, feeling the weight of your palms. Good, let's check into how we're seated here on our mat. Really grounding both sits bones into the mat. Then play around with maybe just tilting your hips forward, tilting your hips back, and trying to find that neutral position. Once you find a neutral pelvis, feel your spine stack on top of each other. Maybe reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. But if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. Interlace your fingers together. We'll swoop forward and then up, coming to a long body stretch, reaching our arms up tall. Good, take a deep breath here. And then exhale your hands out to the sides. You're gonna reach the palms to both sides of the room. Good, take another inhale here. Exhale, your right hand comes down to the mat. We're coming into a side body stretch. The option to keep the arms straight down to the ground, or you can come down onto your elbow. And whatever gets into that side body nice and stretched here. Go take an inhale and look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your left hand down to meet your right, and then walk hand over hand, coming back to center. Tense up on your fingertips and let your head just hang between your arms, nice and heavy. Good, maybe you find a nice sway from side to side here. Good, slowly start to walk your hands back underneath you. Interlace the fingers once more, swoop forward and up. Inhale as you rise. Good, exhale, both hands out. Starting to deepen our breath. Inhale deeply here. Exhale, the left hand comes down now. Reaching those right fingertips over. Good, take this to your degree. Feeling a stretch all the way, maybe from the armpit down to the right hip. Good, then slowly come back down, bringing your right hand down to the mat. Good, tent up on your fingertips and walk hand over hand, coming back to center. Take some time here to just sway back and forth. Maybe let your chin come down towards your chest. And then slowly start to walk your hands back up underneath you. Keep your left knee bent in and then bring your right ankle over the left knee. So you're coming into kind of this like twisted pretzel sit. And we're gonna be moving into a side twist. So bring your right hand back behind you and then reach your left fingertips up first to really extend the spine. And then exhale as you twist around the spine, bringing the ribs back, maybe your back shoulder back in space. Good, and then remember to continue breathing here in this space. Feeling the rib cage expand as you inhale. And then exhale. Good, take one more breath here. And then exhale, counter twist to the left. Good, come back to center. Let's switch out the legs so your right knee faces forward. Left ankle comes over top. Good, left hand comes back behind you. Reach the right fingertips high. Exhale, twist over to the left. Take about 3 deep breaths here, really focusing on expansion of the rib cage, maybe letting your belly button rise and fall. One more deep inhale here. Exhale, counter twist over to the right. Awesome. Let's come onto our backs here. We're going to give ourselves just a little bit of time to maybe rock from side to side. You can bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe making some circles with your knees. Good, go the other way if you're making some circles, even that out. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll start to rock and roll up the length of our mat. Building some momentum so that we can come over to a tabletop position. And once you get there, take some time here, letting your hips be directly above your knees, your shoulders over your wrists, and then just take some time here to breathe in this position. Maybe noticing how your breath changes as you're on all fours. Good, and then matching some breath with our movement. Inhale as you drop the belly and look up, coming into your cow pose. Exhale, round to the back. Tuck your tailbone under. Inhale, drop the belly and look up. Exhale, round the spine. We're gonna take a few more breaths just like this. One more. Good, slowly start to walk your hands out in front of you. We're gonna open up the armpits here. So keeping your hips over your knees, let your chest drop between your armpits. Your head can come to rest on the mat. If you really want to try opening up, you can tent up on your fingertips and then let your stomach drop. The idea here to make it different than child's pose is to keep those hips over the knees. Good. Start to walk your hands back up underneath you. Take your time getting here. And then we're going to wake up the core here. So extend your right toes back behind you. Good. And then start to bend your heel up towards the sky. Good. And then lift your hips just a little bit. Lift your right heel up towards the ceiling. Then extend it back out. Send your toes over to the back left corner. And we're going to make some rainbows here. So then send your right foot over to the right corner. So you're really making a big arch with that back leg. Really squeezing the glutes at the top. Good. When you feel comfortable doing this, keep going. But this time, check into your core and see how you're doing there. Maybe you need to tighten up the core a little bit, bring the lower ribs together. Play around here with this. And then we'll take one more to each side. Good. Come back up to center. Place your right knee down. We'll take that on the other side. Left toes go back behind you. Good. Bend your knee up. Lift the heel up towards the ceiling just a bit. Good. Extend the leg out long. Squeeze that glute here. Good. Drop your left toes to the back right corner. Good. Lift it back up and come over. Good. Nice, slow, and controlled movements here. We're not racing to get anywhere. We're using our control and our muscles to help stabilize the leg and the hip. We're also trying to engage the core here a bit. Good. One more to each side. And then let's meet back in the center first. And then bring that left foot back. Good. This time we're going to send our knees out to the side. Our hips can come to our heels. And bring your arms long out in front of you. Good. Your forehead can rest on the mat here. Just a quick child's pose to check in today. Good. Just checking into our thoughts. Checking in with our body. Maybe noticing some areas of your life that need a little extra love at this time. See if you can devote this class to that special thing or special person, something in your life. Good. When you're ready, we'll come back up to our tabletop. Coming into our first downward facing dog, so tuck the back toes under and send your hips up high. Good. Take some time here to really get into this pose. So maybe bend into both knees, snaking through the shoulders. Good. Maybe it's shaking your head yes and no. Really press your fingertips and knuckles into the mat. Good. Reach your heels down to the mat. Long spine here, so tuck the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Imagine your spine is getting longer. The backs of your legs are reaching up. Awesome. Inhale, come over to your high plank pose. Drop your left knee down. We're coming into a modified side plank just right away. So you'll swivel your back heel down, your right foot, and then reach your right fingertips high. Good, supporting your body on your knee and on your left hand. Good, exhale the right hand down to the mat. Come back to your high plank pose. Drop both knees down and then slowly exhale as you lower. Good, inhale, press through the hands, reach the chest forward. Exhale, tuck your back toes under, send your hips high for downward facing dog. Good, we'll take that on the other side. Inhale, come over to your high plank pose. Drop that right knee down. Taking this on the other side, so left heel swivels down, left fingertips reach high. Good, exhale the left hand down to meet the mat. Both toes long back behind you, high plank pose. Exhale, drop the knees, slowly lower yourself. Keep the elbows in at your sides. Inhale, press through the hands, shine the chest forward. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, slowly walk your hands up to the top of the mat, your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, your hands can come to your shins. Flat back here. Good, exhale, lower down. Inhale, circle the arms overhead, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands through to heart center. Good, reach the arms out long. Inhale as you reach overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Imagine there's a glass of water on your back. Nice neutral spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back. We'll move through a flow. Option to keep the knees lifted this time. Slowly lower yourself into a half plank. Good, inhale, upward facing dog. Tops of your feet are on the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, come back to center. High plank pose. Drop that left knee down. Swivel your right heel open, and this time reach your fingertips high. Good option to possibly lift the right foot off the mat. And hold it here. Good, exhale, drops that right foot down, right fingertips come back, and then come back to your high plank pose. Move through your flow. Good, inhale, high plank pose, drop the right knee down. Left foot swivels back, and then lift the left fingertips high. Reach those left toes up, playing around with challenging your balance here. Always an option to keep that back leg on the ground for support. Good, exhale, left hand comes back down. Come into your high plank pose, and then move through your flow. Good, walk your toes up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, hands through to heart center. Good, reach the fingertips long and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Good, when you get here, separate your feet about hips width distance. And then find a forward fold of your choice. So if you like ragdoll, grab opposite elbows. Find something where you can let your spine decompress, letting your head hang heavy. Good, come back to center. Bring your toes to touch. Plant your hands and step your feet back to move through your flow. Good. When you get back to your downward facing dog, take some time to pedal it out here. And then firm up your foundation. Good. Inhale, lift your right toes high. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Keep the back knee lifted and arms come overhead for a crescent lunge. Good. Exhale, swivel that back heel down, coming into your warrior two. Both hands reach to both sides of the room. Good. Staying lifted through the spine and the chest. Good. Check into that front leg. See if you can pull the knee over to the pinky side. Good. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right fingertips come high. The left hand can come to the small of your back. Exhale, come down, frame your front foot. And then reach your right fingertips high, coming into a low lunge twist. Good. Exhale the right hand down to the mat. Bring your left toes in a smidge, coming into your pigeon, or sorry, your pyramid pose. Not quite pigeon. Good. When you get here, inhale, bend the front knee and look forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Good. Inhale, bend the front knee and look forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Let your gaze come to your belly button. Check in with your hips. See if you can square them off. Maybe you pull your right hip back in space. Good. Inhale, bend the front knee and look forward. And then lift those left toes off the mat, coming into your standing splits. Good. So your back leg is still nice and strong. You're activating those glutes just like we did earlier. Good. Take an inhale here. Exhale, curtsy squat. Bring that left knee in. Good. And then slowly lift your fingertips off the mat, coming into a single-legged Tadasana, mountain pose. Good. You can wrap your hands around your left knee, pulling that knee in towards your chest. Good. And then option to bring that leg down, finding a tree pose here. So a few different options for tree pose. You can bring your foot to your inner thigh, or you can bring it down to your calf, or you can always kickstand it. Find the variation that makes sense to you. Find one that challenges you today, maybe. Good. When you find this pose, really extend the spine up, using that outer hip to stabilize you. Good. And then both sides of your foot and your inner thigh are going to press in towards each other. Good. Come back to center. So your knee comes forward. Hold it here. And then send your left toes back behind you, coming into an airplane pose. So you can keep your hands at your heart, or if you want to fly them out in front of you, you can. Or you can bring your hands back behind you. Good. Slowly start to drop those left toes down to the mat. Come into your crescent lunge. Good. Exhale, plant the hands. Step your right toes back. And then we're going to take a full side plank here. So you can always take one of the options with the knee down. But if you want to play around, we're going to swivel onto the right edge of our foot and then lift our left fingertips up high. Good. Imagine someone's pulling your hips up to the ceiling. See if you can hold it here for a few breaths. Nice and strong and supported through that bottom shoulder. Good, exhale, windmill that left hand down to the mat, come back to your high plank pose, and then move through your flow. Good, we'll take that on the other side. Inhale, the left toes go long. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Keep that back knee nice and lifted. Good, inhale, arms come overhead, coming into your crescent lunge. Check in with your hips here, square them off. Maybe tilt your pelvis back just a bit. Good, so roll that back heel down, come into your warrior two. Good, feel nice and expansive here. Big movement, big pose. So bring both fingertips out to both sides of the room. And then lift up through the crown of the head. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left fingertips come high. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Right fingertips reach down. Left fingertips reach high. Coming into your low lunge twist. Good. Exhale, left hand frames the front foot. Step your back foot in just a smidge, coming into your pyramid pose. Again, check in with yourself here. Maybe you bring that left hip back in space. And then as you let your head fold over that front leg, bring your gaze up to your belly button. Good, inhale, bend the front knee and look forward. Exhale, straighten both legs and fold. Good, inhale, bend the front knee, look forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Inhale, bend the front knee and look forward. And then lift those right toes off the mat, coming into your standing splits. The crown of your head reaches down. The back leg is nice and strong. Good, press that heel to the back of the room. Good, curtsy squat. Bring that right knee in towards your chest. And then slowly press through that left leg. Good, testing your balance a little bit. It's okay if you were wobbly or if you used a little bit of support around you. And then wrap your hands around that right knee. Bring it in towards your chest. Lift the crown of your head up. Good, we'll find our tree pose variation here. So option 2, find the same variation on this side or play around with a different one. Know that both sides of your body are very different. So listen to your body. Wherever you are in this pose, imagine the string is pulling you up to the ceiling. Good, bring your right knee back forward. We'll move into our airplane pose. So send those right toes back behind you. And then start to hinge at the hips as you come forward. But I invite you to find a spot out in front of you that you can focus on to help you balance here in this pose. Good, your hands can come in front or behind you. Good, take another deep breath here. And then exhale, slowly drops yourself into that crescent lunge. Good. Arms overhead first. Take an inhale here. Exhale, frame the front foot. And then step your left toes back to your high plank pose. We'll swivel out to the outside of the left foot. Then reach your right fingertips high. Awesome. See if you can hold this here for the same amount of breaths as you did on the other side. Probably about 2 or 3 more breaths. One more breath here. Then drop your right hand down to the mat. High plank pose, and then move through your flow. Meeting us back in downward facing dog. Awesome. Come over to your knees. Now I'll explain what we're going to do next. So we're going to play around with the side plank a little bit. So you can find a variation of your choice. Now I'll run you through a few of them. So let's first get into our side plank here. So we'll find our high plank pose. Good. Roll off onto one side. And then, so maybe you're down here on your knee. Option to lift that back leg up. You could also bend it back behind you, grab hold, and then kick into that hand. Don't have a lot of space behind me. Good. Few options there. If you're up on both legs, you can lift that top leg up. You can come down, grab hold, and bring it into almost a tree variation. Awesome. Find something that works for you, that challenges you. Good. We'll come out of that. Right toes come back down to the mat. And then let's take a flow really quick here before we go on to the other side. Good. Moving on to whatever side you didn't do last time. Good. Find your variation. Just play around here. We'll take one more deep breath here. And then exhale, both hands down to the mat. You should be in your high plank pose. Press yourself up to a downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. And exhale, side out. Good. Inhale, the right toes will go high. Exhale, bring your shin directly behind your wrist. We're moving into our pigeon pose. So we're going to start to wind things down just a little bit, move a little slower, and hold poses for a little bit longer. Good. Once you get here, feel free to come down onto your forearms or find the full expression, bringing your forehead down to the mat to rest. Wherever you are, we're going to be here for a few moments, so get comfortable. Staying down in this pose, bring your awareness to your breath. And see if you can deepen the breath, matching each inhale with each exhale. Good, take one more deep breath there. Then bring your hands back underneath you. Tuck your left toes underneath. Press yourself up, and then send your right toes back behind you. Downward facing dog, hips go high. Good, pedal it out. Notice the difference between the two sides. Then inhale, left toes go high this time. Exhale, bring it through to your pigeon pose. Good, find your variation of this. Find a spot where you can take about 8 to 10 breaths. So really get comfortable here so that you can focus on your breath. Maybe you notice as each inhale enters your body, Inhale so deeply that it goes to various parts of your body. Maybe it reaches down to your hips. Maybe it reaches down to your knee or to your toes. And when you're ready, bring your hands back underneath you. And then slowly roll off onto your left side. You're going to swivel your right foot out in front of you. We'll bring both toes out in front of us. We're going to take a seated forward fold here. So get yourself nice and comfortable. If you need to put your hips up on a pillow or a block, that might be an option as well. Then lift your fingertips high so that you feel nice and extended in the spine before you even fold. And then bring your hands to your hips and really feel the fold come from the hinging of the hips first. And when you feel like the hips can't hinge anymore, you can start to let yourself fall into this forward fold, letting your chest fall over your knees and your chin comes to your chest. Feel nice and heavy here. So just a few more breaths in this pose. Start to walk your hands back underneath you. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Then roll onto your back. Good. Bring both feet down to the mat so that your knees are reaching up towards the ceiling. We're going to take a couple of bridge poses here. And we're going to hold them for about 5 breaths each. So really start to kind of get a sense of how much we can endure that weight pressing down on our hips. So when you're ready, you can bring your hands to the mat. And then if you feel like you want to, you can bring your shoulder blades a little bit further underneath you to really open up that collarbone chest area. On your next inhale, lift your hips up high towards the ceiling and squeeze those glutes. Kind of, you can even bring your hands or your fingertips to your buttocks and kind of feel that glute sensation. You should feel like it's really squeezing up. Good, we're gonna hold it here for 4 more breaths. So when you get here, maybe you need to bring your chin away from your chest a bit to open up that airway. Deep breath in, and then exhale. Make sure that you're not losing that sensation of the glutes squeezing up. Good, one more inhale here. And exhale, bring the hips down to the mat. Good, let your knees fall from one side and then to the other. Just a couple of times before we take that again. Coming back to center. Good, this time press through the heels. And that should almost give you a sensation of like lifting the hips up to the ceiling. So find that lift. Good, when you get here, check into your knees this time. See if they're out wide. See if you can bring them in so that they're in line with your hips. Good, hold it here. We're gonna take 4 deep breaths. One more. Drop the hips down to the mat. Good. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice hug, a tight squeeze. Good. Maybe you rock from side to side. Good. And then option two, find a happy baby pose to round off your practice, or any other pose that I might not have brought you through. But if you do find happy baby pose, see if you can really relax into it. So your hands are here supporting you. See if you can let go of any tension in the feet. Good. Can you let go of any tension in the knees and let your legs just kind of melt down? How about in the hips? Can you let go of any tension there? Awesome. You can stay here, or if you're ready, we'll find our final resting posture. So you can take any posture that you might like. Otherwise, you can extend your legs out long, letting your toes fall to the sides. Your hands can come to rest on the mat next to you. Good, and then check in with your neck and your head and see if it's nice and comfortable. It should be fairly comfortable laying here on the mat, so reposition if you need to. Good, when you get here, let's take 3 deep breaths here. So inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs. Good, exhale, keeping the mouth closed. Letting the warm air out of your nose. Good, take another inhale. And exhale. One more time. Deeply inhale, biggest breath yet. Feel your ribs expand, your belly expand. And then this time you can open your mouth and sigh it out. But you can stay here on the mat for as long as you might need. And if you want to stay here for a long period of time, you can always close me out right now and stay here in this space. But if you're ready to move on with your night, you can start to wake up the toes and the fingers, wiggling them back and forth. Good, let's bring the arms up towards the ceiling and circle out the wrists. Sometimes those side planks can be a lot of weight and stress on the wrist. Good, and then arms come overhead for a long body stretch. Awesome, bring both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself one last hug here. And then slowly make your way up to a comfortable seat, however you would like to get there. We'll bring our hands to our knees and close our eyes. Good, you can bring your hands to touch at heart center. Bring a wave of warmth and love to ourselves for carving out this time to move our body and breathe. And let's make a promise to ourselves to do this again this week or next week. Namaste. Thanks for joining me.